Today, Jeff is going to show you how he made this frame for this gigantic mirror. Make sure to head on over to our Instagram to see the latest updates and new projects.
So this is the mirror we're going to use. I honestly have no idea where we even got this. You can get these on Craigslist, anywhere. Especially if it's a used mirror, you can probably get it relatively cheap. So we're just going to put a simple frame around it just to make it look nicer, and then Jess will find a place to hang it, or we'll just sell it.
So we're going to construct this frame out of hard maple. Here are my two boards. I'm going to cut these to 4 inches. So I'm going to rip these two 8-foot boards down. This is a pretty big mirror, so there won't be much left of these when we're done.
So we have our two 4-inch boards cut. The mirror is 48 inches on the long side. So we're going to do a 48 inches plus 8 inches to account for the 4-inch frame. And then I'm also going to add like an inch or two just to be safe. Now we're going to cut a rabbet joint so that the mirror can sit on the frame nice and flush. I'm going to use the joiner. A lot of people are probably going to say, oh, I don't have a big fancy joiner. A lot of joiners have this feature. I'll show you how to set it up in this Powermatic. But if you don't have a joiner that can do this, you can use a table saw. You can use a rabbet bit on your router. There's a lot of different options to do this.
You're going to start out by removing the guard and then setting the fence to the width of your rabbet. Then go ahead and set the depth of how deep you'd like the rabbet to be. And here's the first test cut. The mirror has a bevel, so we're going to want to cover the bevel completely when it's framed, and then you want it to sit just past flush. I'm going to make a few adjustments and then cut my final pieces.
So we'll be using these mirror attaching hardware clips. And you can see you want to go a little bit past flush. So when you install these clips, they hold everything nice and tight together. So when you put the screw in there, it'll pull everything tight.
Now I'm going to take each piece and cut one end off at a 45.
I'm a big fan of not measuring. So you're going to line this side up a little bit past where it is. Going to make a mark, and then we're going to cut the 45 right there. Probably leave like a 1/16 all the way around the mirror. Make sure all the pieces are the same exact length. So I'm going to line these two ends up, and then just transfer a line in here so you know they'll be identical. So now that we have everything cut, everything's ready to put together, I'm going to use a domino to put all this together. A lot of people probably don't have a domino. It's a very expensive tool. You can use biscuits, dowels, Craig jig, a lot of different options. So again, since I don't have a table big enough, I'm going to do this on the floor and mark out all my joints on where I'm going to put the dominoes. I'm going to put 2 dominoes per joint, and it would be the same exact thing if I was using dowels. Go ahead and mark everything out. So I went ahead and marked every corner to make sure everything stays in order.
Make sure you add an excessive amount of glue because the end grain really likes to absorb it, and the dowels or dominoes will help a lot for strength.
So I moved this to a workbench just to make it a little easier to work on once I got it to like actually fit together. I didn't have any clamps long enough because this thing is giant, so I had to use the old double clamp method.
I ran these through the joiner and the planer, so everything is relatively smooth already. So I'm just going to hit this with a 100 grit to make sure everything's even and remove any glue.
So I went ahead and rough sanded everything to 100 grit, and I went to talk to the captain, and she said she wants a small chamfer on the inside. So I'm going to take this bit here, just a chamfer bit, and run it around the inside just to give it a little extra character. And I also went ahead and added some walnut splines, just because I thought it looked really cool in the maple.
I'm just running the router on the inside of the frame, removing a little bit from the corner before I do a full pass, just to make sure nothing chips out. Since I'm doing this with the frame already assembled, you can see that it rounded out the corner. So I'm just taking a chisel. This one could have used a little extra sharpening, but it did its job to just square out the corners.
Alright, so this thing is ready for finish. I sanded it to 120 because I will be using Rubio. This is just a frame, so it's not going to be heavily abused, so I'm not going to put a big thick top coat on it. Any sort of finish will be fine on something like this.
I would typically use a simple wipe-on finish for something like this, but because it's hard maple, I didn't want it to yellow. I wanted it to keep that nice white color, which is why I use Cotton White from Rubio. These are the little mirror clips that we're going to use. They just apply a little pressure on the mirror to hold everything in line. And then I'm just going to pre-drill some holes and then screw them in. So we're going to use one of these hanging systems. It's just like a little baby French cleat. So we're going to put this on and hang it up. And this is the finished product. So thanks for stopping by, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys have any suggestions of new videos you'd like us to come out with, just send us a message, and please be sure to subscribe.